the money go? Where did the money go? Because it did not go to the CGI department. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be giving you a spoiler-filled review on the new movie, The Flash. Now, if you are familiar with my channel, you know that I am not a superhero fan. Like, I don't know. It's not my cup of tea. However, recently I have been venturing into the whole superhero universe. I've gone back and watched some of the Marvel movies completely out of order. And I saw the Rock superhero movie. I want to say it came out last year. Yeah, it was last year. I saw that. And now I am here watching The Flash. And I gotta say, I was sitting in that theater like, what the hell am I doing here? So The Flash is a superhero that I am not even familiar with. There are superheroes who I have obviously heard of and I'm familiar with, like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, etc., etc. But I was like, I don't know who the hell the Flash is, child. But really, he's kind of the exact same superhero that we get in the X-Men movies. You know, the X-Men movies when they're like young again and we have like new X-Men. Yeah, it's literally that same character. Like, they both can move super fast. Except, unlike that character in X-Men, the Flash can like walk through walls and stuff like that. So yeah, that was interesting. So I gotta say, I didn't really enjoy this movie. Now, one thing that really was just a real negative for me with this movie is the lead character, the Flash, aka Barry. Now, I'm not fully familiar with, like I said, this character, and I'm also not very familiar with the actor. Now, I don't completely live under a rock, so I know there's like some controversy with the actor. I don't really know what it is, but he did something, broke the law. I don't know, child. He did something and folks was mad. That's really all I know. And I went into this movie kind of expecting the actor to kind of blow me away, because I was like, well, if he did something terrible and like the studio still backing him or something, I mean, I'm presuming, because, you know, I don't know if he did that before filming the movie. I don't know, child, but I was kind of expecting to really like the actor. I was like, oh, this guy must be good. Yeah, I wasn't blown away. I wasn't blown away by the Flash character, the Barry character. The Barry character, we get two Barrys. We get the adult Barry, and then once Barry goes back in time, we get teenage young adult Barry. And although teenage young adult Barry, oh my God, y'all, talk about immature, talk about obnoxious, talk about insufferable. I could not stand him. But adult Barry ain't much better, child. Adult Barry, and I was confused, like, you're a superhero, but he's like a big dope, socially awkward, comes off as an idiot. He comes off very dim with it, and it was kind of baffling for me. And I will also say another reason this movie was disappointing is with the opening sequence, it was very much giving me like, oh, this is finna have a very silly comedic tone, which I wasn't really expecting. And none of the humor really hit for me. A lot of the humor was just awkward or dull, and just the jokes weren't landing. The opening sequence where, okay, so basically the premise of the movie is time travel, which I hate. I hate any plot about time travel, because I just feel very dense, and I'm always like, wait, this don't make no sense. I still don't understand how John Connor sent his own dad back to the past because without him he wouldn't be born, but you're already born, like you're here, you're in the war, so how did you send your dad back before the war? I don't get it. Like, I am an idiot when it comes to like time travel stuff. It like never makes sense to me. But the premise of the movie is the Flash mom, Barry's mom, was murdered when he was a kid. And even though his dad, he knows his dad didn't kill his mom, his dad goes to the store, comes home, finds the mom dead. Tell the kid to call 911, and the kid just run out the front door. And I was very confused on that. I would be like, bro, where are you going? I said call 911, not run. But basically, he wants to go back in time to stop his mother from being murdered, right? And the way he even discovers he is able to go back in time is he starts running super fast, but he runs so... Now, I didn't understand this completely. He runs so fast, which he's a superhero. This is what he does. He runs fast, but for some reason, in this moment of running fast, he runs so fast that we get into like this really bad CGI circle. I was literally watching a movie like, what the fuck is he? And y'all, okay, so I'm gonna get sidetracked for a second, but that was something else. The CGI. Now, as a moviegoer, I'm not that person that typically is going to complain about like bad CGI blood. Now, I will say I think it's pretty synonymous across the board that practical effects always come across better in the movie. I don't know, in my humble opinion, I do enjoy practical effects a lot better than CGI effects. However, I'm just not that moviegoer that's going to really complain about bad CGI most of the time. And for me, CGI, I don't know, it doesn't take me out of the world we're in the movie. However, the CGI in this movie was so bad. Oh, like shockingly bad. And I say shockingly bad because is it the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life? No, but it's up there. It's pretty bad. But I say shockingly bad because, like I said, I don't know much, or I didn't know much going into this movie. But two things I thought I knew was that the star was like controversial and that the movie had like a huge budget. Was I wrong? Like, I could have sworn this movie had like this huge budget, and I'm just like, baby, where did the money go? Where did the money go? Because it did not go to the CGI department. Y'all, the CGI was so bad. But anyway, let's get back on track. So he runs so fast that he ends up running so fast he enters this time warp, space-time continuum. I don't know, child. But basically, Ben Affleck's character of Batman, of Bruce Wayne, kind of explains a bit that the Flash can move so fast that he moves as fast as light, or faster than light, or faster than time. And that's how he ended up in this little circle time warp thing. I still don't get it. I don't. Maybe I'm dense, and I know I am dense when it comes to time travel stuff. I don't know why. I just can never get that ish. But y'all, what am I not getting? I still don't understand how he got to this place. But anyway, so he goes to this little time travel bad CGI bubble where it's like a coliseum of events. And so finding out that he can do that, he gets the bright idea to save his mom, which in turn will save his dad. If his mom is never killed, the dad never goes to jail wrongfully for the murder. Now, the movie starts off, like, that's the premise of the movie. We're going back in time to save mom. Now, the movie starts off, this opening sequence was one that I personally didn't really enjoy. It was a little too silly for me. And like I said, the humor just wasn't my taste. The Flash goes to get a breakfast sandwich. There's just an awkward, just unenjoyable scene for me personally. He gets a call. He's part of the Justice League, which is like the Avengers. It's a group of superheroes, and we work together. So the old boy calls the Flash, But he tried to call a bunch of other superheroes who were busy, so he calls the Flash. Bruce Wayne, Batman, is on his own little mission, and everybody else just ain't answer. So basically, the Flash goes to this hospital. I don't know why the hospital was collapsing. I don't know if I missed that, but we got a collapsing hospital, and we get this scene, bad CGI scene, where a nurse in the little nursery with the babies, her and all the babies fall out the window, and the Flash comes to save them, stops in the middle of saving them to eat because his metabolism, because he moves so fast, he's burning up his energy right now. He ends up saving all of them, and then while Batman is on his mission, Batman ends up hanging off a cliff with one of the villains, one of the bad guys, and can't drop something the bad guy is holding because then it'll like blow up Gotham City or something. And that's when Wonder Woman, who I didn't know, Wonder Woman is old girl from Fast and the Furious. I had no idea. But anyway, because I was like, hey, that's the girl from Fast and the Furious. But she comes and saves them, and the Flash pops up, and we have more awkward humor with this, I don't know, magic rope thingy that she uses to pull them up. If you touch it, it like forces you to tell the truth. Yeah, just awkward. The jokes just didn't land for me with this scene. The Flash makes a joke about never having had sex. I feel like that sentence was so grammatically wrong, but I don't know. And Bruce Wayne makes a joke about having a huge ego and can't say thank you or something. Now, I will say I didn't care for the Flash's opening little sequence. Batman sequence was enjoyable, it was decent, it was straight, it was good. But one thing I will say that also brought down my enjoyment of the movie is I expected there to be a lot more action. I don't know. I guess I was thinking along the lines of like Winter Soldier. Like I thought I was going to get some action sequences, like a lot. I didn't get as much action as I thought. Really, the bulk of the movie felt like a buddy comedy movie. That was the vibes I was getting, because we basically go through the bulk of the movie with Adult Barry and Young Barry being buddies, working together, trying to go on this mission, which Young Barry doesn't even know the full scope of the mission. He doesn't know his mother dies in Adult Barry's timeline. I don't know what to call it. I think I want to say it's a word besides timeline, but I'm just going to use timeline. Michael Keaton uses like a spaghetti reference, like noodles of spaghetti. And that was a joke that landed for me at the end of the movie. I'm just going to jump ahead. When the dad is exonerated and a reporter asks Barry for a comment, he says something about spaghetti and the sauce, and the reporter says, that doesn't make any sense. I chuckled at that. That was humorous. And I feel like I might have put it in my notes. It was one more, like literally it was only 2 times that I thought anything that they did humorously was actually funny. Oh, when the second thing that I thought was funny, well, actually the first thing, because the one I just told you is at the end of the movie, and this one is before the end. But when both Barrys go to find Bruce Wayne in Young Barry's timeline, and we pull up to the mansion, Young Barry is like, where are we? Is this hell? That was fun. I thought that was humorous. I chuckled. So that was 2 moments out of an over 2-hour movie that was really going for the slick, for the stick, for the comedy. That was 2 moments out of the entire movie that I thought was humorous. And I didn't like laugh out loud. I just kind of was like, oh, that's funny. Like kind of chuckle. It wasn't a LOL. It was a GG, a giggle. Now, okay, so where am I at in the plot of the movie? Okay, so I was talking about the action sequences. That's what it was. Y'all, I got sidetracked. So I expected there to be a lot more action. It was basically just a buddy comedy. Like I literally felt like I was just watching a buddy comedy movie, and I'm not a buddy comedy movie fan. So we get the opening action sequence, and then we don't get like no action. And then when we're introduced to Michael Keaton's Batman, we get an action sequence when we go try to save Superman, and then we get no action. And then we get an action sequence towards the end of the movie when we have this battle with, what was that bad guy's name? Zod, with Zod. And that was it. Like, I don't know. I expected there to be more action. Now, Barry decides that he is going to go back in time. He talks to Bruce Wayne, and that was another disservice to the movie for me, but I get it. The movie is not like about Batman, it's about the Flash. But I really enjoyed Ben Affleck. I didn't like what they did with him, like I said, with that bad humor on the bridge scene, but I enjoyed his character. I enjoyed the whole demeanor of his Bruce Wayne, and I wish I got more of him, because I just really, especially this scene when Barry comes to him about his idea. I love this scene with Bruce Wayne, with Ben Affleck. The whole, when Barry is like, he could go back, he could save his mother and correct everything. And Bruce is like, or you could destroy everything. Something about the way Ben Affleck delivers those lines, I just really love. So I wish we got more of him, but I get it. Like I said, the movie is not about him, it's about the Flash. And there is a reason why we have different Batmans, which actually I thought worked. That was something that I liked, is we get Ben Affleck's Batman in adult Flash's timeline. Then after Barry decides to not listen to Bruce Wayne's advice, because why the hell would you? Like, of course you don't. He decides to go back in time, go to the grocery store, put the tomatoes in his mom's shopping cart, so that way his dad never leaves the house to go to the store. Now, I had a lot of issues with the plot with this movie. This is kind of issue number one. So the whole situation is, Barry and his parents were at home. Mom was cooking dinner, asked Dad to go to the store to get tomatoes. She was at the grocery store earlier that day, forgot the tomatoes. He leaves. Barry is upstairs in his room. Some person comes in the house, stabs and kills his mom. Dad comes in as mom is sitting there with the knife. So the killer must have had just left, because Barry hears his mom scream or something, comes downstairs, Dad is home and telling him to call 911. So my thing is, who the hell killed mom and why? Because if Dad never goes to the store, why did the killer not come to the house when mom and Dad were home? Like, why was the killer just not there just because Dad wasn't there? Now, Barry does make a comment. I can't remember verbatim, but he does make a comment in the movie regarding somebody thinking no one was home. I guess they had one car, so when Dad goes to the store, the car isn't there and someone doesn't think anyone's home. So they come in, I guess maybe to rob the place and kill mom. But it still didn't make any sense to me. Whoever killed mom, where were they when Dad stayed home and didn't go to the store? I don't know, but I didn't understand that. Now, Barry goes back in time. He sets everything straight. Mom is alive. But when Barry goes into that time bubble thing, some monster comes in and like you see a flash of it. I was like, thought it was a monster, some time warp guardian monster. That's what I was thinking it was at the moment. Comes in and like knocks him out of the bubble, and he crash lands on a time spaghetti loop where his mom is alive and he's a freshman in college or a senior in high school. No, he had his own apartment. He wasn't a senior in high school. Young him was, I want to say, a freshman in college or something like that. Now, this bugged me so bad the whole damn movie. Something, monster, creature, whatever, knocks you out of there, and he literally never thinks about that again. Like, are you kidding? I would have been like, who the hell was that knocked me out of there? Like, he literally never even thinks about that thing ever again for the rest of the movie. And that, like, literally, as I was watching the movie, it just was bugging me so bad, wondering who the hell that was that knocked him out of there, or what the hell that was. So him not wondering, he literally gets knocked out of the bubble on his way home by something, creature, and he just walks in his house and sits down with his mom. And I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? And the whole thing he was trying to do was, he didn't take Bruce's advice, but he took a bit of the advice with the whole butterfly effect thing, where he was not supposed to interact with nobody or see anybody. Why the hell, just because some creature knocked you out of the time continuum loop bubble, do you break those rules and walk in your house and go talk to your mama? And I get it, seeing his mama, the urge, like, he hasn't seen his mother since she died. She's finally alive, so the urge to go into the house could have been strong. But why the hell were you not thinking that a creature knocked you out of that time? Y'all, that bugged me so bad. That bugged me so bad. Now, this also bugged me. He goes in the house. He's sitting down talking to his mom and dad. They make a comment about, oh, you cut your hair. Now, come on now, child. 18-year-old you and like 28-year-old you should look like 18-year-old you and 28-year-old you. I just did not understand how the parents just was like, oh, you cut your hair, and not, why the hell do you look older? Now, the dad did make a comment about him trying to look older, but I just didn't buy it. I feel like if 18-year-old me was sitting in front of my mama right now, okay, I don't know. I still kind of look pretty much the same. Whatever. I don't know. It just kind of didn't make any sense to me that he didn't seem older to them in any way. Now, I also feel like just because your kid like looks like you, it's like Attack of the Body Snatchers, where the person literally is wearing someone's skin, but you feel that their different mannerisms, personality, who Barry is in his timeline. Mother passed away, dad is in jail. When he went in that little bubble with the Coliseum of events, we could hear people like being like, your dad is a murderer. Like, everything that shaped who he is in that timeline, for me, that makes you a completely different version of you than the version of him that his mother being alive, dad in that timeline got. I don't know, something about the son should have felt different, but hey, whatever, maybe that's nitpicky of me. Now, and I forgot to say, Burger from Sex and the City is Barry's dad. Now, once Barry is in the house just chilling with his parents, and I literally was thinking, where the hell do you think you are? Like, where are you in this? Like, you just sitting at the table like you don't exist in this time. And that's when he sees his young self out the door, and he gets up and runs out of there, makes up an excuse by having to go, use the bathroom, and he goes to run into himself. I was not clear on what the hell he was trying to do. Obviously, you don't want both of you in there with your parents, but he goes outside. He has something over his face trying to mask how he look, because remember, butterfly effect, he's not supposed to like interact with himself and stuff. And he pushes himself against the like side of the house. But I'm like, you have powers, you move super fast. Why didn't you just dip up out of there? I don't know. I didn't understand what he was trying to accomplish running into himself when he's also simultaneously trying not to run into himself. He doesn't want the young self to know that that's I don't know, whatever. So anyway, we go through what was for me a very boring sequence of you have my face and all this other stuff, and then going up to the bedroom inside of the parents' house and having a conversation, then showing that you have powers. And y'all, 18-year-old Barry for me was acting like 11-year-old Barry. I mean, just really very kiddish. So then we get to his apartment, young Barry's apartment, and we're going through all kind of stuff. And this is when we get on a new mission. On the news, adult Barry sees that Zod has come to Earth, and this reminds him of when he first was trying to be a superhero, and Zod came to Earth. And Superman beat Zod, but not before Zod killed like thousands of people. And one of the people that was killed was this dad, and Flash was only able to save the kid, right? Now, when we actually get to the battle where Flash them is fighting Zod, all I could think was, okay, so now the kid gonna die because you're not there to save the kid. That was bugging me. But anyway, so our new mission is we have to find Superman, we have to get the Justice League, but adult Barry discovers that none of the superheroes, the Justice League, they don't exist in this time, but Batman does still exist. So we go to find Batman, we go and find Michael Keaton, which of course adult Barry is surprised because in his timeline, his Batman is Ben Affleck. And that was something that I did like when I like that element that they put in the movie when both of the Barrys are at young Barry's apartment, and he has roommates and a roommate boyfriend and a friend or whatever, and they're talking about movies, and adult Barry is saying, oh, I know Back to the Future. We have it where in this different time, different lead actors ended up in Back to the Future, Footloose, Top Gun, etc., etc. So then within this movie, we have different Batmans. We have Ben Affleck, we have Michael Keaton, and then at the very end, when Barry gets back to his timeline and Bruce Wayne is pulling up outside of the courthouse with his dad, little retrial or whatever, I was like, I bet you it ain't gonna be Ben Affleck, and it wasn't. It was George Clooney. So I liked that element of how they did that. Now, we go get Bruce Wayne, who is just, I didn't understand this. I mean, I understand it, but I don't understand it. Gotham is like a crime-free city now, and there's no use for Batman. So I didn't understand why he's just like kind of a slob, just doing nothing. I'm like, well, that's the Batman side, but there's still the playboy, rich, philanthropist Bruce Wayne side to Batman. Like, why aren't you all of those things? But whatever, he wasn't. So it's basically a situation of like a hero who no longer has a need to be a hero. So I guess he's kind of just wayward now. He really has no purpose, because that was his purpose after his parents died. And he ends up getting on this new mission with them. And he's like, okay, I'll help you find Superman. And like, that's it. So young Barry doesn't know that mom was killed, and you can kind of feel a little foreshadowing that is going to come into play and be a big issue. And he overhears Michael Keaton and adult Barry having a conversation about it, and Michael Keaton being like, the kid doesn't know, does he? And just like, well, how do you tell somebody something like that? So we end up on a mission to Russia where we think Superman is being held. And this was actually a good sequence. We get a nice action sequence with Michael Keaton's Batman, and a good little humorous moment where the Flash is moving super fast and he gets shot, young Flash, because I didn't understand this either. Adult Barry tries to get Flash to a certain place, which is where he got struck by lightning, chemicals poured on him, and he got his powers. So he tries to recreate that event so young Barry can get his powers, because he feels like, well, if young me doesn't get the powers, then current me won't have it, which I didn't think that made sense because we're in different time things. But then again, we don't learn that until we get to Michael Keaton. So, okay, yeah, it does make sense. So he ends up messing up though, because young Barry's like, wait, what? I don't get struck by lightning. So adult Barry is in the way, and they both get struck by lightning. So adult Barry loses his powers and young Barry gets powers. So we then have a sequence where adult Barry wants to get his powers back, so we set up this experiment that Michael Keaton helps us with so he can get struck by lightning. It doesn't work. Supergirl comes, flies him up to the sky so he can get struck by lightning. He gets his powers. I was very confused on that because, like, okay, let me think of somebody. Okay, like Spider-Man gets bit, but not by a regular old spider. I thought it was like a radioactive spider. But so I thought it was weird, and it makes sense to me. I'm like, how does the Flash get powers just by getting struck by regular old lightning? Because I thought maybe it was like a mixture of the chemicals, and I feel like you would have to know what chemicals, how much of each chemical. But Supergirl flies him up to the sky, he just gets struck by regular old lightning. So I don't understand how that lets you be like super fast and walk through walls, but whatever. I don't get it. But now we end up trying to rescue Superman, and like I said, we have a good action sequence with Michael Keaton's Batman. We have a good little humorous moment where young Flash gets shot, and he's like, I didn't think we could get shot, and adult Barry is like, why would you think that? So we end up busting into the little cage thingy and finding this girl, very frail, and we're like, wait, this ain't Superman. So we gonna all just dip out and leave. But the first Barry, adult Barry, is like, no, she needs help. Let's get her out of here. Once we get up to the surface, this is something else I didn't understand. She kind of comes to life, doesn't look so frail no more. She looks healthy because of the sun, right? And she has this little sequence where she's fighting. I wasn't very blown away. Honestly, like I said, the action was a letdown, the lack of action. And even though I enjoyed the Michael Keaton Batman sequence, and I enjoyed Ben Affleck's Batman action sequence, one thing with the action for me, the whole fight with Zod and everything, it was just like, it wasn't bad. It was fine. It was enjoyable, but it felt like every superhero fighting I've ever seen. Like, there was nothing different, special. It was just, I felt like I've seen this, and I ain't seen very many, I haven't seen very many superhero movies at all. So we end up going back to Bruce Wayne's mansion, and this is what I don't understand. But I don't know nothing about Superman. Like, I legitimately don't. I don't think I've ever seen I've never seen a superhero movie. My mama used to watch that Superman. I just said superhero. I meant to say I've never seen a Superman movie. And when I was a kid, my mom used to watch that Superman TV show, but I didn't. I don't know nothing about Superman, but he get powers from the sun. Kara, who is the girl who was locked up in Russia, who we thought was Superman, Kara is cousins with Clark Kent, which, dang it, I'm mad I can't remember his real name. Clark Kent is his human name. Damn it, I can't think of the name they was calling him. But anyway, she is like Superman's race of people. Why is she powered by the sun? I'm confused, because Superman is from another planet. I know that much. They don't have our sun. So how do they get powered by a sun that's not even of their earth? I don't know. I didn't get it. But anyway, it didn't hurt the film. I just didn't get it. And I probably just don't get it because I'm not a comic book person or a superhero person. I'm pretty sure it's probably common knowledge that I just don't know. So she fly her ass up out of there. Like, I was like, hold on now, baby, we saved you and you gonna just dip? I thought that was crazy. But she goes where Zod is at, and Zod ends up killing some humans, some soldiers, because he's like, he wants the Krypton. Y'all, what was them people called? Damn it, I can't think of Clark Kent's alien name, and I can't think of the race of people that they are. Shoot, I can't think of it, and I ain't put it in my notes. But anyway, he wants that person. So she ends up going back to the Flash and Bruce Wayne them. And this is when she flies old boy up to the sky so he can get struck by lightning. Even though I'm like, baby, you walked in at the tail end of the experiment. How you even know what we trying to do up in here? But anyway, we finally go and we have the big showdown with Zod. And this whole action sequence, it was fine. Like I said, enjoyable, fine, nothing you haven't seen before. One moment that I did think was kind of raw though was there's a sequence where Michael Keaton's Batman is trying to fight this giant, and dang it, I cannot think of the race of people, but it's like Zod, like they're Superman, their race, but it's like a giant, and he's like jumping on top of it, putting these bombs on it. I thought that was really fly. I like that. Now, when we get to the fight, something else that bugged my nerves. It's two moments where the moral and point of the movie just goes down the toilet. There are two moments. One moment is we were supposed to learn our lesson about going back in time and messing ish up. We go back in time to save mom, and now it ain't no superheroes and Zod finna destroy the earth. Like, we supposed to learn that lesson. So during the fight, Kara gets killed and Michael Keaton's Batman gets killed. So the Flashes decide to go super, super fast to get to the time circle continuum to save them. Again, also, why the hell is old boy not thinking it was a monster in here that knocked me out? But anyway, we're going in there, and I immediately think, why the hell is you effing with the time continuum again? We were supposed to learn this lesson. You did it with just a cup of tomatoes for your mom, and now it ain't no superheroes. So why would you mess with it again? That bugged me so bad. Now, no matter how many times we go in there, Kara and Batman still die. They just die different ways. And that's when the first adult Flash is coming to the realization that in this time, noodle spaghetti, they're just meant to die. That is how this is supposed to happen here. But young Barry is just not accepting it. Now, for me, this is the moment where it was kind of getting glare. Like I said earlier with him not knowing about his mom, for me, that was a little foreshadowing of how this was going to turn. But this moment in particular is glaringly obvious that the young Flash is going to turn evil, especially the way his voice was in this scene, the way his actions and demeanor was. It felt very villainous. Now, I was also confused why he was fighting so hard, as if he really knows Kara and Batman. Like, he was fighting, like he was trying to save his mama. Like, he was going hard, just not listening to the adult Barry, like trying to tell him, like, stop trying to do this. But he just kept doing it over and over and over again. Like, hey, why you just standing here? You ain't finna come help. And he literally gets to the point where he about to attack his, other version of himself. And I'm like, why are you going so hard to do this? But he pretty much is like, look, I was like minding my business. You came here and, got me involved in all this, told me I was a simple superhero. Now you just want me to stop. Now, this is where it was also glaringly obvious that the creature that kicked Barry out is him himself. It's another version of Barry, because as young Flash was going through the time trying to save Batman them, he was getting this thing stuck in him. I can't think what it was, but it was from Zod folk So as soon as we saw that creature again, immediately I was like, that's Barry. That's the Batman suit that he did up to make a Flash suit. That's the thing stuck in him from Zod, them people. Like immediately it clicked for me. That's who that is. And it is revealed that that is young Barry. And he now this is when I start getting confused on time travel-ish. Young Barry only becomes Flash because adult Barry came back in time. But somehow young Barry grows older in this time continuum, still trying to keep going back 50, 11, 100,000 times. He intentionally pushes Barry out to that time in order to give him his powers. How the hell are you in this continuum? You had to have powers to get here. How are you here to push your other version of yourself to your time to give you powers? That's so circular. Like, in order for you to get the powers, Barry has to be pushed out. But you're here with powers to push him out, to give you power. I don't get it. I don't get it. Am I an idiot? I did not get it. It made no sense to me. How are you already in the time circle bubble with powers to push your other version of yourself out to your time to give you powers? Something else I didn't like about this, I would have preferred adult Barry was coming to the realization that he has to just let his mom die. I would have preferred if all versions of him just finally came to the realization, but instead, time continuum version of him, for some reason, suddenly needs to kill him, his version, because he's focused on trying to save his mom. And young Barry, picking up on what's being said, jumps in front of the bullet, not, a literal bullet, but jumps in front of adult Barry and gets killed. But this don't make no sense. If you die right here, how are you in here to age and be going through time and be... Y'all don't make no sense. But I could just not get it. Because like I said, when it comes to time travel, it be over my head. Now, a few other things that I didn't like was... I enjoyed Michael Keaton's Batman, but again, some of the dialogue and what I thought was supposed to be humor just didn't land. And maybe it's just some stuff that I just didn't get. Like, there were moments when my mom, was telling me this is from, previous superhero stuff. So maybe it's stuff that I just didn't get. But one real, sore thumb for me was when Michael Keaton's character, first of all, his introduction I didn't like. I don't know why they was focusing on the flip-flops, and I just did not like that introduction. And it also didn't make sense to me that he was hiding and then Pouncer started fighting the two Barrys when you could clearly hear them calling out to you and looking for you. They were literally like, Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne. So why did you jump out fighting, bro, when they clearly are looking for you? But anyway, one big sore thumb for me was when we're about to get stuff popping and Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton decides to work with us and he's like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And I was just sitting there like, I don't get it. Why did you say that line like that? Like that? What? Like I didn't get it. I didn't think it was. And again, that was a moment that I thought, or I think they were trying to be humorous in some way. But it didn't land for me. I didn't get it. It felt very awkward. I was just like, I don't get it. Another big negative was when we're in this time continuum Coliseum thing and we're coming to the realization that we have to let mom die. We're seeing the different time periods and different worlds colliding, right? And we're seeing different Superman. Because in this time when Kara and Batman died, Michael Keaton died, we learned from Zod that he intercepted Clark Kent, Superman's, I can't think of his alien name, but we intercept his pod he's in as a baby, and we try to get his blood. We kill him because we want to make a new race of us, and then that Superman is dead in that time. So we, in this Coliseum time continuum thing, we see different Superman, right? And we actually get a little fight that I enjoyed where Superman is fighting this spider-like robot creature thing. That was pretty enjoyable. But then the CGI wasn't good. But then I was literally sitting in the theater like, why does Superman look like Nicolas Cage? And then we see him again and I'm like, that's Nicolas Cage. But y'all, why was it a CGI Nicolas Cage? Y'all couldn't just run my man a check and get him in the movie? Why the hell was there a CGI Nicolas Cage? Like, it reminds me of that Black Mirror episode I just saw where you thought Selma Hayek was in a TV show, but really it was just CGI Selma Hayek. Why the hell do we have CGI Nick Cage? Was he not available? Why couldn't we get real Nick Cage to cameo in here? I don't know. That really was a sore thumb for me. I was just like, because at first I thought it was just a messed up CGI that favored Nick Cage. Like, I literally at first was just like, why the hell that Superman look like Nicolas Cage? But then I was like, wait, that is Nicolas Cage. It's just a bad CGI Nicolas Cage. Now, I pointed out a few parts of the plot and stuff that I felt like bothered me. And remember, I was talking about there's supposedly being morals to the story, and then they just throw it to the wayside. The second one of when it comes to that I was just like, what the hell are we doing narratively? So we learn we have to just accept and let mom die, right? That's going to be for the good and betterment of it. We get, because we messed up. We didn't have the superheroes and folks was dying and worlds was colliding. So Barry goes back to the supermarket, and this was one of the best scenes of the movie. Very heartfelt. It wasn't cheesy or on the nose or overdone. I actually thought it was done very well. Some of the best acting in the movie from the lead Flash actor guy, for me personally, I really didn't like his performance, and maybe it's because I just really don't like that character of the Flash / Barry. But he's in a supermarket and he needs to get that can of tomatoes that he put in his mom's shopping cart. He needs to get it out of the shopping cart, and he has an interaction with his mom where she doesn't know that's her son, which I felt like ain't made no sense. But anyway, like, I feel like if you look at me at 8 years old, baby, you gonna know like that's my face now at 36. Like, you gonna know 8-year-old my face. But anyway, she's just having interaction with him in the store, just being like a kind-hearted, nice person. You know how like you're a mom, so you can kind of, be motherly to kids that are not your kids. He has this heartfelt moment. He has to say goodbye to his mom. He has to accept just letting her die. And my thought, as I was sitting there in the theater, I literally turned to my mom and I was like, well, can he at least get his dad from going to jail? Because in his regular period, before he goes back in time, he is a forensic something in the legal system. And his dad, I thought his dad had a parole thing coming up, but it looked more like an actual court trial. He got Barry got help from Bruce Wayne to get grocery store footage, security footage, because his dad's alibi was he was at the grocery store. This didn't make sense to me, because to me, the son is a witness, and it wasn't like he was a little kid, like 4 years old. I feel like he was an old enough kid to alibi his dad. Like, my dad was at the store, and I also felt like the dad couldn't give you what store he went to. Like, the cashier ain't remember him, the patrons. I don't know. I just don't understand how you have an alibi of being in a public grocery store but you go to jail. I don't know. I didn't get that. But anyway, we get security footage and they were trying to say, well, back at the time of the trial, the security footage wasn't very good. And in his time period, the dad never looks up at the security camera. So Barry knows that's his dad, but it's not proof enough for him to not go to jail because he doesn't look up. So when we're at the supermarket, when we're learning the lesson about mom, having to let her die, I literally turned to my mom and I was like, well, can he at least get his dad to look up? But narratively, they should not have done that. We were supposed to learn a moral to the story that don't mess with time, butterfly effect, and also Bruce Wayne lesson of these ugly, horrible things, led you down a certain path and you have to just accept it. He literally negates the lesson we just learned, the heartfelt moment we just had, letting mom die. He negates all of that to move the can of tomatoes from a bottom shelf to a top shelf so that his dad looks up at the camera and his dad is exonerated. Okay, nice little happy ending to wrap up with a bow, but it negates the whole point of the movie. Like the whole trial and tribulation he goes along in the movie, the whole heartfelt moment with his mom. Like the whole lesson he gives his young self before his young self saves his life is something his mom said to him as a kid. The whole moral of you cannot solve every problem. Some things you have to just let it go. You have to just let it be. Like, why did we negate that whole lesson? I didn't understand that. Overall, y'all, I really did not enjoy this movie. And it might be blasphemy, but I enjoyed that Rock superhero movie, which I didn't think was very good. Damn it, what was it called? Y'all, what was the Rock DC movie? It was Black. Was it Black Lightning? It was Black something. Whatever the Rock DC superhero movie was last year that was pretty mediocre, I enjoyed that a lot more than this. I really did not like this. And I feel like this just kind of adds to the whole reason why I'm not really into superhero movies. I felt like they really played it safe. Can I get my words right? Okay, let's try that again. I feel like they really played it safe with the story. I would like a superhero movie that isn't so goofy, comedic, feeling very family friendly, even though there was a lot of vulgar language. But story wise, it felt very formulaic, and that's something I don't like with these superhero movies. It doesn't feel very edgy or dark. I don't know. I kind of want more edge to it. I wanted to not follow the same old tried and true formula. I would have to give The Flash a solid 3 out of 10. I'm sorry. Don't kill me, comic book folk and superhero folk, but I just could not get into it. And I don't want to, it's no excuse of where you're not even a superhero person. No, I'm not, but I love Winter Soldier. That's my motherfucking movie. That's a good ass movie. I don't care. You don't have to like the superhero genre. That is just a good ass movie. And I also like the Iron Man movies. So, yeah, that's not an excuse. No, it may not be my cup of tea. And I enjoyed that Batman movie that Robert Pattinson did last year. So, it's not even that I'm not the biggest fan of the superhero genre. It just wasn't a good movie. The Flash/Barry character is freaking insufferable. I mean, no redeeming qualities, none. Up until this movie, I would always say that Captain America was my least favorite superhero. And he's not like an insufferable, annoying character. I just feel like he's an annoyingly goody two-shoes, squeaky clean character. He gets on my nerves. He's very superior acting. Nah, Captain America done been knocked down. That's not my least favorite superhero no more. It is Barry. It is the Flash. Let me know in the comments, how did you feel about the Flash? Did you love it a lot more than I did, or did you not have a very good experience with it? This is by far one of my worst movie theater experiences so far in 2023. I could be forgetting some bad experiences this year, but right now, this is in the forefront of my mind. It's like really bad movie theater experience. Narratively, the George Clooney Batman doesn't make any sense. I feel like when I was in a movie theater, I was equating the conversation within the movie about the different actors that ended up playing Back to the Future and Footloose and Top Gun and stuff. I feel like in the theater, I equated that with the different Batmans we get in the movie. Of course, now though, I'm thinking that, okay, within the narrative of the movie, we get different Batmans because we're in different time spaghetti loops, right? So if Barry gets back to his original timeline where he started, why was Ben Affleck not there? Why was it George Clooney? Like, I feel like that means within the story that he butterfly affected something, like moving that can of tomatoes the same way he moved the can of tomatoes into his mom's shopping cart, and we got the movie moving the can of tomatoes to the top shelf for his dad to get exonerated. That must have changed this timeline. So we still aren't at the original Ben Affleck timeline, because why is it George Clooney? I don't know. But I just thought about that. It's not making any sense within the story unless it's supposed to purposely end with the audience being like, hey, he hasn't fixed things. Now he's made another problem and we're still in a different time spaghetti noodle. Okay, as I'm sitting here editing, I'm realizing there was a big negative that I forgot to mention, and that's the reporter girl. I don't know why the actress played that character the way she did, because she felt very untrustworthy, sneaky, like she had a hidden agenda, but that never pans out. She turns into a love interest because at the very end, she tells him to like call her and ask her out to dinner. I don't know, that was just very odd, and I just wanted to throw that in there. I didn't enjoy her character because it was just very strange. Thank you so much for watching this video and for supporting the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.